We are officially 1 week away from the AFL season. It starts next Thursday. Today is Friday, the 12th of March, and this is my Supercoach team reveal or update. And hopefully you guys will enjoy. I'm Strag. I was on the Defenders podcast from the last video, so check that out. We went really in depth for all the Defenders available this season. And obviously there's been updates during the Amy series, but hopefully I'll be able to dive into some of my picks and explain them to you, as well as using some stats and logistics to, try and explain my picks. So here we go. Just quickly get it up. Riding My Tuk Tuk is my team name because I love Tuk Miller from the Suns. I think he's an excellent player. All right, hopping into the team. Talking about the structure first, we've got 5 defender premiums, 4 midfield premiums, Gawn and Grundy in the rucks, and then just 1 forward premium. So I've gone with a 5-4-2-1 if you're talking about players over 500,000 in each position line. And starting off with the defenders, Jake Lloyd and Rory Laird, I think you have to lock them in. Jake Lloyd has a little red next to his name because he sprained the back of his knee in the last few weeks, I believe, but he should be good to go for round 1. Those are the reports I've heard. At 650,000, he's obviously expensive, but he's Jake Lloyd. He's been the top Supercoach defender for the last 3 seasons. You can't really go by him. Rory Laird, last year I believe that he played North Melbourne, kind of mid-late season, played in the midfield, scored very highly, I remember, and averaged 118 for the rest of the season. He looks like he's going to have the same midfield position that he did at the end of the last season, and he has to be a lock in your team because of that, in my opinion. Now, Brandon Maynard, he's a bit of an odd pick. He's only got about 3 to 4% ownership, but I would just like to raise a few points on him really quickly, and he's probably going to be the one I talk about the most. Brandon Maynard scored 107 in the Amy series, but was off for the last 5 minutes of the game because of an ankle injury that was just iced up on the bench. He was just on the bench for the rest of the game, but scored 107, which was a fair effort. I think he could have easily scored 115 had he stayed on the ground, which he probably would have for the rest of the game had he not injured his ankle. Injuries aren't really much of a concern, even though obviously he did injure himself in the Amy series. He's only missed not many games, I believe. I can double check later, but he hasn't really missed any games at all. And he's so much better with Jeremy Howe on the side. Jeremy Howe just really expands his reach as a player and a Supercoach defender. And I think he could easily average 110 this season. That would be probably his ceiling. But I think I'd say 105, I think, is a good average for Brandon Maynard. He averaged 102 last season and then 80 the season before, but he's only 24. He's naturally progressing. So I think he's locked into my defence. Jordan Ridley really impressed me with the Amy game on the weekend. Highest disposals for Essendon on the ground, 110 Supercoach, I believe, and he's looked the goods. He's All-Australian calibre, and he's been nailing it recently. And then to finish that up, Jaden Short, he's looking All-Australian calibre with Basher Hooley outside, not in the side. He scored, I think, 163 Supercoach. He was absolutely insane, 43 disposals. He had a ridiculous amount of metres gained with his big left foot. He is insane. Actually, I can't remember if he's left foot or not. I think he's left foot. But yeah, he is nuts. There's no way. He's jumped. I think his ownership is up to about 20% now, maybe even 25%. It was only like 3% before the Amy game. He should get in your side without Basher Hooley playing. And even with Basher Hooley playing, he's a decent pick. And my rookies are just Kashitsky. Don't really know how to pronounce it. That's probably good enough. We kicked the bag on the weekend against North Melbourne. Trent Highmore, who might get a start for the Saints, we're hoping. And Nick Murray, who was signed by Adelaide just last week after the game and should be good to play, I hope. Lockie Neal in my midfield. He's had calf injuries during the preseason, or a calf injury during the preseason, but it's not much of a concern for me. He looked fine on the weekend. I'm locking him in. Clayton Oliver, same deal. He's had body soreness, didn't play in the Amy game, but he has to be in your side. He's such an elite user of the footy. You watch him in the clearances and around the contest, he's so slick. Even in the preseason videos, he looked absolutely amazing. even with body soreness. So he's in for me. Jack McRae impressed me so much with his AAMI game. Can't remember his exact Supercoach score, but it would have been around 120, I believe. And yeah, like I said before, he just looked the goods. He was elite all around the ground, and I'm so sorry that I ever took him out of my starting team because he looks amazing. And Zach Merritt, he's missed 2 games in 5 years. He scored 135 on the weekend in the AAMI game. He's absolutely fitted out on the wing and in the inside mids for this new rules, which is obviously changed the Supercoach scoring for lots of players. Jaden Short, Caleb Daniel, Tom Stewart could all look to benefit from those rules as well. Zach Merritt, in my opinion, he's really going to benefit from the new rules, as well as just natural progression. He is a top-tier midfielder that I don't think should be underestimated this season for Supercoach or just in general. Just running through the rookies, Tom Powell, he should get the start for North Melbourne. James Jordan, I believe the name is, played decent for the Demons in the AAMI game, should get the start. Collier Dawkins for Richmond, he might get a start. He's there for now. Sam Berry for Adelaide, he should start. And then Connor Downey, Goulden and Scott, respectively on the bench. They all played very well, I believe, on the weekend. Brody Grundy, Max Gawn. What are you going to do? You start them. That's it. If you were thinking of starting Timothy English, Riley O'Brien, don't. They won't average as much as Gawn and Grundy will. And if one of Gawn and Grundy go down, you can trade to them. Or you can trade to Rowan Marshall, who will be back by about round 3 or 4, we're guessing. So that's okay. I've got Matt Flynn on the bench at the moment. It's a bit of a Russian roulette with what ruck we're going to go with. Meek from Fremantle, Briggs should go in the defence for us from GWS. I believe there's one more. Fullerton, who's in my forward line for Brisbane, could play. And Tracy, also from Fremantle. But right now, I think he's the best chance to play and to potentially be a loop. So Flynn's there at the moment. In the forward line, Josh Dunkley. There were a few doubting him leading into the AAMI game. Luke Beveridge wasn't giving really favourable comments about Josh Dunkley, but in that game on the weekend, he was amazing. He was really good with the footy. I believe he had 20 contested possessions, unless I'm thinking of someone else. Maybe I'm thinking of Bont. One of them had 20 contested. I think it was Dunkley. But even if he didn't have the 20 contested, maybe he only had 10. I don't know. That's still pretty damn good. And with that dual position, you have to start him. I reckon Josh Dunkley. I mean, you don't have to. You can start Dustin Martin, Patrick Dangerfield. I'll touch on why I'm not starting them. Dusty Martin, recent times, doesn't usually start the year off too well. And it just doesn't really suit with the structure I have at the moment. And with Dangerfield, he's obviously had some preseason troubles. And, he might be fit to go for round 1, but then it's still, is he overpriced at 610,000, I believe. So I don't really like it. Jack Zeeble and Jarman Impey are my only mid-prices in the team. And Jack Zeeble, I think he had 100 Supercoach in the AAMI game. And even though he had 6 kicked on him, I think it goes to say something about how even though he was getting slaughtered, he's still racking up points. Maybe North Melbourne shift around the defence, but then John Noble has been saying that, John Noble? I think it's David Noble. I think John Noble's the player. David Noble, I think the North Melbourne coach's name is. David Noble. Just Noble. Will be... I don't think he'll adjust the North Melbourne back line. We'll probably wait for Robbie Tarrant to get back, who I don't think was playing, though. And Jarman Impey, he looked alright. Hawthorn, I believe, made a post with Impey in the mids on a little whiteboard, like a little... with the crosses and O's. And... he was in the mids, which is interesting. But no, I've been eyeing Impey out for a while. He should make 150,000, which is basically what we want him to make at 212,000. It'll only take about a 75 average, I think. What's he priced at? 40, so about 75 is what we need from him, and I think he's achievable. I think that's achievable, especially off halfback with the new rules. Then running through the rookies, Brayden Campbell, Chad Warner, Harrison Jones, Fullerton, and James Rowe. All these players should start. I don't see any reason why they won't. Maybe Chad Warner doesn't. Harrison Jones probably should. Fullerton looked really good on the weekend. And James Rowe, while he kicked 3 behinds, he still looked impactful, and I don't see why he would leave the side. So that's my team reveal. Got 55,000 left for corrections and all that after round 1. Projected 1,700, but that's because Jake Lloyd is injured. If you replace him, your score still goes up, which is just stupid. I'm projected about 1,850, or give or take, for round 1. But obviously, the projected doesn't really matter. We know that these rookies are going to score higher than 23, or at least we hope. That's my team update. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more from me, talking about specific defenders, midfielders, forwards, talking about specific picks. Maybe you want me to go over Josh Kelly or Paddy Cripps, Sam Walsh, guys I haven't mentioned, Tom Stewart in this video, Kyle Langford, Jai Caldwell, Jackson Haitley. There's so many picks that I could go over, and if you want me to, I can. I'm going to be uploading a lot more frequently now, because I've got a new motivation to upload content and provide you guys with more ideas about Supercoach, and hopefully I'll be able to maintain that drive over the course of the season. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. You don't have to like the video, but it's free. You just can if you want. And I'll see you next time.